Hello, I am Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends, and today I've got a look at the new premium Tier 7 Soviet battleship, Lenin. This ship is available for 25,000 icebreaker coins for the duration of this Holiday 2020 update, and for this video we're going to look at my commander build, my mod selection, the armor scheme of the Lenin, and then we're going to jump into some gameplay, talk about the stats, and about how the ship plays. But a curious note, obviously an unusual turret setup with 3 turrets right in the front of the ship, kind of like HMS Nelson, although this ship is very much unlike that one. The commander I'm using, Mikhail Kedrov. Rank 14, we've got Cunningham and Hyde as inspirations. I am probably going to update the inspirations at some point here, but this is the build I was using in the game. As far as my mod selection goes, aiming systems mod 1 in the first slot, propulsion in the second, main battery reload mod in the fourth, nothing in the third because I am a little broke right now. Keep in mind I was not using the main battery reload mod in the actual game though. I have since put it on. As far as the armor scheme goes, notice 4-end armor belt, 100mm. That is the icebreaker armor with 100mm at the bottom, 32mm plating on the upper part of the bow, and 32mm deck armor on the bow, which is quite big. Also, on the aft of the ship, we've got 32mm armor plating as well, which means only the Yamato can overmatch this bow and aft plating, so you can comfortably tank 16-inch guns. As far as the superstructure, not too much to speak of at all. Not a lot for those pesky HE spamming cruisers to hit there. Got 50mm side armor and a 150mm lower belt on that armor. 45mm deck armor in the center of the ship. Now that's very interesting. Most of the ship is covered in this 45mm deck armor, which renders it almost invulnerable to HE spam. Neither 152mm cruisers nor 203mm cruisers with HE can pen 45mm. They can pen the bow and aft deck plating with HE, but those are really the only vulnerable parts of the ship. The citadel, as you can see, is somewhat exposed out of the waterline, so don't give broadside in this thing. Same is true of any Russian or Soviet battleship. You'll get wrecked. We're going to jump into the gameplay now, though. Going to be on Crash Zone, and it's a domination mode game. I'll run down the stats, and then we'll start talking about how this ship plays. 66,610 hit points with the Hyde inspiration. That puts it near the Alabama and Massachusetts in terms of hit points. Unlike those ships, though, it only has 28% torpedo damage reduction, so you don't want to be taking a lot of torpedoes in this thing. It does, however, have 9 406mm guns, all turrets concentrated in the front. Those are 16-inch guns. They range out to 17 kilometers, and they reload in 29 seconds with the main battery reload mod in the fourth slot. In this game, you're going to see them reloading in 32 or 33 seconds. Pretty long reload. And this was actually the very first game I played in the Lenin. Got some great results with it. 24.9 second turret traverse on these turrets. Incredibly quick. Faster, you could say, even than some heavy cruisers in the game. That's kind of why I like Kedrov, because he gets the turrets to turn so fast. You can flip this ship around from angle to angle, and these turrets will follow quickly. As far as the shell damage, 5,850 max HE shell damage with a 41% chance to start fire, so that is fairly good HE shell characteristics, much like the rest of the Russian battleships, although I tend to pretty much never shoot HE in them. Instead, I shoot the AP pretty much 99% of the time. 13,100 maximum AP shell damage on these 16-inch guns. Maneuverability, 28.5 knot top speed, 840-meter turning circle, which is pretty wide, but a very responsive 13.5-second rudder shift time. Not too bad. And there we score our first citadel of the game against the Azuma. We're taking some fire from a Wichita. And remember, the 45-millimeter deck plating, along with the, I think it was 50-millimeter side armor? Yeah, his HE shells are not going to penetrate this ship in very many places. Realistically, I think the only place they could potentially penetrate this ship is in the superstructure, which, as we saw in the armor viewer, is very limited, or if they get plunging fire onto the front deck armor or the rear aft deck armor. That's the only place 203-millimeter HE shells are going to penetrate from a Wichita. And the same is going to be true of the Cleveland. I think there is a Cleveland out there as well that is shooting at me. You can see that those shells are hitting me, but they're doing no damage. Literally the only damage that Wichita got was from the single fire he lit on me. And there we take down the Azuma for our first kill of the game and first blood. So this ship is practically invulnerable to HE shell penetration damage. Really, the only thing it has to worry about is fire. Again, we are just getting rained on by a golden shower of HE spam from two HE spamming menace cruisers, the Wichita, and actually I think that's a Kutuzov out there, judging by the smoke screen. Neither one of them are doing any damage apart from the fires they set. They finally set two, so we elect to use the damage control to put those out. Reversing now, throwing off their shots a little bit. And frankly, they're out there, they're kind of dodgy. They're nowhere near our blue cap circle. And so I am going to make the choice to start moving away from this flank very soon, since these guys are really not in a position to do anything other than rain HE down on me, which is pretty ineffective for them and pretty annoying for me. The majority of the action in this game is happening on the other side of the map here, as this Roma is pushing into the Charlie cap, which is contested. So we are going to head over that way and see if we can't help our team out in taking this capture circle. Now, the Lenin, I do feel like this may in fact be the poster boy for the age-old Russian bias claims that get leveled at, well, I suppose the PC version of World of Warships, and to some extent this one as well. As we've already seen, the Lenin is practically invulnerable to light cruiser HE spam and even heavy cruiser HE spam. Something like an Alaska probably is going to be able to penetrate more of the armor on this ship than a Wichita or a Kutuzov, but functionally, it's very, very resistant to HE. So there's that, and that can't really be said about too many other battleships in the game, apart from the Vladivostok. Also, as we've seen already, these guns hit ridiculously hard, and they get laser accurate the closer you get to the enemy. Even at further distances, like ranges of 14 kilometers or so, pretty far out there, they're still fairly accurate and fairly reliable. Taking a shot there at that Roma, who is angled slightly. You can see the shells are traveling to the center part of his ship there, and they actually don't hit. So occasionally, you're going to get that kind of wonky, long-range Russian accuracy. But for the most part, I feel like these guns are very reliable. In fact, I think they are probably more reliable and more accurate than the Lenin's Tech Tree Tier 7 counterpart, the Vladivostok. All around, I think this is actually a better ship than the Vladivostok. You can see that the three turrets are concentrated in the front, got the same number of guns as the Vladivostok, but you don't have to give too much of an angle to get them all on target. It's a pretty steep angle with all three of these guns on target. I've used this angle against many other enemy battleships in the course of the several games I've played in the Lenin. Obviously, I think I said this was the very first game I played in the ship, and I haven't really been punished at this angle with all three turrets on target, but I have been punishing the ships that are in front of my guns. Now, we don't get a very good hit on that Roma there, who is bow on to us, but it looks like he might be coming around this island, and there aren't too many ships left in this Charlie cap, so if we can take him out, along with that other battleship about 5 kilometers in front of us, we may be able to secure this circle. Roma is giving broadside, so we only need one gun to finish him off, and that's a citadel, because of course it would be. Scharnhorst coming around the corner, you can see, like, these are laser-guided missile shells. They're very accurate at these kind of ranges. You don't want to be getting close to the Lenin. The hit we got on the Scharnhorst, though, leaves a little bit to be desired. It was only 6K. Still, he is under sustained focus fire from our teammates, and he's not going to be haunting this cap circle for much longer, particularly now that the guns are reloaded, the shot is out, and the Scharnhorst is down for our third kill of the game. Friendly ship goes down right in front of us. I think there is a cruiser over there. So you are going to hopefully see what this ship can do to cruisers. We're slowing down, though. We don't want to expose ourselves to fire from whatever's around that corner, because we do want to secure this cap circle. That'll give us the majority. Points are very close, so this game could still go either way. Of course, the cruiser's out there. Atlanta. He's angled slightly, which means he's deleted. Fourth kill of the game. He goes back to port. And then we've got a Fiji out there who looks like he is going to escape into cover behind that island before my guns can reload. In any case, as we capture this circle and try to approach the Fiji for our kill, I will say that I like the Lenin quite a bit. I think I'm going to do everything in my power to try to get this ship. It's an incredibly strong tank of a battleship. It can deal with HE spam, it can deal with high caliber AP, and it hits like a truck. We delete that Fiji, 24,000 damage in one salvo, 2 citadels, the Kraken unleashed. That puts us over 100,000 damage. Obviously, this game isn't going to be a super high damage game, but we do have a Kraken, and this ship is obviously capable of doing much, much more damage than this if you have the opportunity to shoot at the right targets. All that's left is a single enemy cruiser, and it's a Wichita. We're going to see if we can't take him out. Now, a few people have said that this ship is the Russian version of the Nelson. It's not. The Nelson is an incredible tank, but part of that tankiness comes from its ability to absorb HE damage and fire damage and then heal it back up with the super heal. The Lenin does not have a super heal. It's got a run-of-the-mill battleship heal, and it only comes stock with 2 of them. Another reason to use Kedrov for the Master Mechanic skill. I have 3 of them with that skill active. I would have 4 if I got Kedrov to rank 16. But the Lenin is an incredible tank in a different way, as we've seen. Much more heavily armored on the bow than the Nelson, 32mm versus 25. And then, of course, that 45mm deck plating, very significant for protecting it from HE penetration damage. This friendly Cleveland is approaching the Wichita, and the 2 of them are having a DPM contest, as you can see here, firing the high explosive at each other. Luckily, or unluckily for the Cleveland, but perhaps luckily for me, the Cleveland is going to lose, and this Wichita at this stage, no match for me. He's got no hit points left. I have a lot of hit points left, and virtually there is almost nothing he can do to my ship. Very tanky. Nevertheless, the side of the ship can be penetrated by battleships very easily. They can and will hit your citadel for massive amounts of damage. That is true of most, or of all of the other Russian battleships. So keep this ship angled, not too hard to do it when you got all the guns on the front, and try to get in close tank damage and play it as sort of a medium to close-ish range brawler ship. It's a fun ship. I recommend trying to get as many of these icebreaker coins as you can, because I'm sure a lot of you are probably going to want to pick this one up too. Anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.